good, YouTube, and welcome back to the arcade where games are supposed to be fun. If you're new around here, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and let's get into it. We're going to be going over the settings, sensitivities, and menu systems of Apex Legends in Season 15. A lot of it may be pretty basic stuff. If you're new to the game, this may be overwhelming to you, and a video like this could help. So if you press your options button, you're going to get this first menu here. But if you hold down your options button, you get the settings menu. So here we go. Okay, so going into the settings here, first tab, we have gameplay. Now, these first two settings are going to be pretty much for new players. You have compact and default on the interact prompt. And that's just going to display more information about weapons and items on the ground. So if you've been playing the game for 15 seasons like me, it's just, you don't need these on default and on. I keep this on compact and off. But if you're a new player, that could really help, you know, just some hint buttons to show you what button to press for your queue, for your tactical and for your ultimate. Next up, we have crosshair damage feedback. This is kind of an important one. You can have no indicator, show an X on the crosshair, X with an icon, indicating the shield level. That's going to give you the most information, and I definitely recommend keeping this one on here with the shield icon. You always want to get the most information you can out of a gunfight, you know, give you the most advantage. So, damage numbers here, this is another really important one. You can have no numbers overhead, you know, show the combined number of all the recent damage. The floating one, which looks really cool, and both, which is a combination of both. I would definitely recommend going with stacking. You get to know exactly how much damage you dealt in total to that person. The floating one, I say, like, looks really cool. I used to have that because it looked really cool. You hit a peacekeeper shot and all these numbers pop up over his head. But if there's an enemy behind him, it can kind of get in the way of your vision and seeing things clearly. So I suggest keeping this on stacking. Get all the total damage that you deal within the gunfight. Again, a lot of these things are going to come down to personal preference, but this is my suggestion. This is what most of the people have it set at. So, ping opacity, this one's not too important. You can have it faded or default. I keep this on default. But this is basically when you ping things during the game, it shows like a marker, and it'll be either faded, partially, or the default. So, there you go with that. Moving on to obituaries. Definitely want to keep this on. You get a lot of information from the obituaries, from the kill feed. You can see how many people are alive. You can see who's fighting. You can see when people are dying. So it can really help you at end games when you are looking to push a fight or, you know, just get the most information you can. Now, mini-map rotation. This is something I always keep off personally. I like the direct north. And this is a personal preference, really. Some people prefer to have the map rotating. I prefer it off, though. Next up, we got weapon auto cycle on empty. I keep this on. This has messed me up in the past. This will swap to your other weapon when you run out of ammo with the other weapon there. And sometimes I'll press weapon swap and it'll swap back to the weapon that is empty. But I've trained myself to not do this, and I would suggest keeping this on and getting used to it. Now, auto sprint. Auto sprint is something I definitely keep on. You'd be crazy to kind of not have it on. You don't need to press down on the joystick to sprint. You just press forward. I get some issues. I need a new controller. My joystick is stutter running right now, and it's the most annoying thing in the world. So I gotta get a new PS4 controller, which I get like 4 a year. Better than buying 4 scuff controllers a year. But, yeah. Double tap to sprint. This is off. This is connected to the auto sprint. Maybe this would help me. Maybe this would fix my joystick issue. Maybe I should test that right. But keep this off. Go with the auto sprint. Next up, jetpack control. This is pretty much only for Valkyrie. I would suggest keeping this on toggle. It helps just with the boosting when you're jetpacking around and whatnot. And this is an interesting setting because it's only for one legend. Next, incoming damage feedback. This, I think, is one of the most important settings next to your sensitivities themselves. 2D, 3D, or 2D and 3D, which I think the 2D and 3D is a bit too confusing. I go with just 3D, a three-dimensional arrow indicator, and it gives you the direction you're getting shot at pretty accurately. 2D I just don't like, and like I said, the 2D and the 3D together are just too confusing. So going to taking damage closes your death box or crafting menu. Now I had some debating on this. It's the issue of shield swapping. So if you're taking damage and you're going into a box to try and shield swap, you don't want it to close the death box every time you take a bullet damage, because you're trying to go in that death box to shield swap. So yeah, definitely keep this off. Pop up, I keep this off. This is for new players as well. If you don't know what the hop-ups do, this will tell you what they do. You can keep this on if you're a newer player. Streaming mode, this is where, you know what I mean, of course, your streamers and whatnot. It's like an anonymous mode, which we have right underneath as well. So on all, you have all the enemy names are anonymous. Killer, the player that kill you, is anonymous. It's a way so that you can keep anonymous if you're a streamer. And then same here with anonymous mode. Now I keep these on off and disabled because I am not a streamer, and I don't care if people see my name. I like people to see my name. Anonymous mode disabled. Usage sharing. Now if you're a privacy guy, you don't want your privacy and data being shared, you can disable this. I just have it on. I'm not too... my privacy is whatever. I got nothing to hide, really. Though they are probably selling your data to the highest bidder on the black market of the internet. Cross-platform play. I keep this enabled. You want that cross-platform. You definitely want to be playing against, you know, cracked PC players when you're on console. Console's got the advantage to, you know, the aim system. Performance display, I keep this off. If I want to see my performance, I'll go into the settings and turn it on and look. But I keep this off. This is something that's personal preference, but I like to have as much stuff off the screen as possible. Club invites enabled, so people in your club can invite you to games. We got communication filter, determines which players receive text and voice chat. Players do not pass the filter. Got that on everybody. And this is a really cool custom reticle, so you can experiment with these. Look how bad the blue is, though. It blends in with everything in the background. You want this to really stand out. I go with default on that. Keep it nice and red. And then the laser sight's pretty cool too. Get to that in a second. Yeah, the red I feel like is the best that you can see clearly, and it doesn't blend in with the background as much. Laser sight, I'm going with that custom pink, because why not? You know, it's just like an aesthetic. I think the green looks really cool too. But I go with the pink on that, so you can customize your laser. That's a new setting. Colorblind mode. This is, you know, they got this in a lot of games. Very helpful for people who are colorblind. Subtitles I keep off. Subtitle size, whatever. I think that's for the incoming text or whatever. I'm not sure where you get subtitles in a game like this, but enable accessible chat features. So this will give you hints, as well as voice instructions for accessing the chat. Have that off. Disable voice chat. This determines whether the incoming outgoing chat will be disabled or not. Converting incoming voice to chat text. This We'll take anything they say through the mic and convert it to text. Kind of odd, but it's an option if you want it. And yeah, a lot of these features just around the voice check, the text chat as speech, play incoming text chat as speech. That like, there's a that voice that plays. I think it's kind of funny, especially when people say some funny things. So going on to the next tab, controller. We're gonna get into our sensitivities and look sensitivities, aim sensitivities, button layouts, all that fun stuff. And you can of course play around with all this stuff here in the firing range. Taking a look at my new Pathfinder heirlooms. Funny animation. Love it. I love it. So, heading back into the settings, we're on tab 2 now, controller. And we're going into button layout. This is really, every game has this feature. I have mine on button puncher, of course, which switches your crouch and melee. Um, that's my favorite, so I can slide with the, with the right joystick and melee with my circle. But there's a bunch of cool options here that you can explore. Button jumper, evolved, grenade or ninja, and customize, of course, where you can just customize all the buttons. And there's some really cool things in here. I don't know what people's playstyles are, if people even use these, but I'm sure people use the customized, and so you can play around with these and fully get your button layout perfect, exactly how you want it. Now stick layout. It's, of course, we got default Southpaw, Legacy, and Legacy Southpaw. You're gonna, swap your left and right, which that sounds like a nightmare. Movement and turning split between left and right. Movement and turning split between the sticks and are swapped. I mean, jeez, what a nightmare. Default. That's all I can say for that. Default. Interact and reload button. Tap to use. This is the same button on console, so you have to choose what you want to do. Tap to use and tap to reload. Tap. This is where I have mine on. Tap to interact and reload. Hold to swap weapons. That's what I found is best for me. If you use hold to use, it's just like a delay. Hold to reload is a delay to reload. These are important things that you want done with the push of a button. You don't want to have to hold down the button 2 seconds. So onto the crouch button. This is a game where I think it's better to have it on toggle. Most games you just have it on hold, but no, actually most games you have it on toggle. Toggle on pod on every game pretty much. So this is good for sliding, of course, too. When you have those really long slides. Aim button. This is pretty obvious. A hold. I've never met anybody that uses toggle, but to each their own. Survival slot button. Sets the survival slot to use the assign button for quick access to the survival slot item. If turned off, you can only get through your inventory screen. And that's cool if you want to do trick shots, because you'll have your inspect a weapon button on just like a button, and you can do some cool trick shots with that. L2 and R2 button dead zones. Want to keep this on high. This is going to give you a quicker shoot time, less time to press down the button. Those split seconds really matter. Now on the menu cursor, you can see me testing out my speed. I'm slowly trying to increase this, but if you increase it too much, you're going to be in the death boxes looting like trash. So I'm slowly increasing this. You want to have it as high as you can while still having control, so that you can loot death boxes quick. Moving on to the most important settings of any multiplayer shooter video game, it's look and ADS sensitivity. You can have this all the way up to insane on 8. I have mine right near the middle, and that is 4. Give you a little clip of how this is. This is mixed with the fine aim adjustments. This is high and high. It's level 4 and level 4 on look sensitivity. and ADS sensitivity. And it gives you a nice balance. The fine aim adjustments help. This is personal preference. Some people might have some pain. They want to be able to spin around really quick and see what's behind them. Some people like it low. A lot of the pro players have it a lot lower than you would think. Not always higher the better.
Using Grapple.
And just to give you a little on the look and sensitivity, you want to have it high enough so that you can spin around and you know what I mean, shoot people behind you, not get flanked. So you got to test this out and get it pretty much as high as you can while still having control. That's my suggestion. Now down to more of a fine detail per optic setting, which I do not have set up. I have mine high across the board and I've gotten used to every optic with this setting. But you can individually set up a sensitivity for every optic zoom from 10 all the way down to 1 for aim sights. And this is a really cool option that they have in the game, and I probably should take advantage of it, but I'm going to have to completely relearn my aim sensitivities on every scope if I do so. So I don't have a suggestion. This is personal preference. Going on to the other really important thing in this game, this is like unique to this game, and that is a response curve. Now you have classic, steady, fine aim, high velocity, and linear. The classic respawn feel, I had played with this since the beginning of the game, but I eventually switched to fine aim, which has specialized for small gradual adjustments. You just have those small adjustments and I find I can hit more headshots doing that. But steady is another option, a balance between firm control and fast aim. That might be for your more high sense players, you want quick snap aim. I like the smaller gradual adjustments. I'm more of a slow player. And then the high velocity quick response, that must be, you know what I mean, for your really fast input. And of course linear, where your raw input is going to be. Some people love this, and I would play around with all these and find exactly what works for you best. Now look, Deadzone, I have this on small. This is similar to the trigger Deadzones, but you can prevent drifting when you're not touching your script if you increase it, but you don't want to increase it if you don't have to. So I keep mine on small. And real quick, an explanation, what a Deadzone is exactly how much pressure you have to put in the direction for the input of that to respond. So your movement Deadzone as well, I have that on small. Inverted look, this is for OG players. I have this off. This is when you invert your look. You gotta be a psycho to play like that. I only know a few people on YouTube that do that, but hats off to you. That's some OG shit right there. Vibration, keep this off. I'm telling you, you do not want your controller vibrating in a multiplayer game. It's going to be distraction. It's going to throw your aim off. You don't want it. Keep this off. And then you got custom look controls for your advanced looks. I do not want to turn this on and explore what this is. I don't want it to mess up my entire settings. But those are advanced look controls right there. And you can explore those for yourself at your own risk. Field of view. Now, we're into the video tab here. Brightness. I keep this right here. This is going to help you see those people in those dark corners. And keep that brightness not too bright, but because it's going to mess up your color palette. But keep that brightness up so you can see people in those dark corners. Now, field of view, for the best playing experience, if you have young eyes, I would say. My old eyes cannot see people when the field of view is at 120, so I keep mine halfway at 90. But the field of view is really important. You can see more areas around you to your left and to your right the higher you have it. So if you have those really good young eyes, keep that on 120. You're going to get the most advantage in playing. If you have the option for field of view, always turn that up. But again, I can't see people at distances with my field of view all the way up, so I keep mine halfway. The ability scaling, some of the tactical abilities or ultimates, you have a speed ability and that increases your field of view when it does that. Looks cool, I keep it enabled. And then the sprint view shake minimal. This is going to help with motion sickness when you're running. It just keeps it from your screen like shaking so visibly. Almost when I go back to Call of Duty, I notice how crazy the goddamn running shaking is. Your screen, it makes me vomit. And your master volumes, all your volumes here. I don't adjust these. I keep this all 100%. I don't find that the sound effects or the dialogue or the music or the lobby, any of this stuff like affects the gameplay. The music shuts off, so I keep these all on 100%. But you can adjust those as you see fit. And then we're just gonna have one more menu system to cover, and that is the weapons. Squad little menu system. So if you tap your options button once, you're going to go here in the inventory squad, and you can switch between attachments. You can switch optics. You can turn, you can ping for ammo. You can ping for weapon attachments, body shields. You can tell me your ultimate is ready. This is all the stuff you can do within your inventory. The squad's going to show your squad's banner, their banner cards. You can see if your teammates are trash or not, or whether they might actually help you, or if they're a wraith, this is going to fucking leave the game as soon as they get downed, because they dropped alone, and that's how they play. Every single one of them. If this video was helpful, leave it a like, subscribe for more settings, menu, sensitivities, videos on all your games. Going to be doing a Callisto Protocol, I believe is the name of it, when that game drops. Gonna try and get that video the day of, so you guys can have a helpful video right when you start the game, so you don't have to learn all these things yourself. I'll put, the hours in and learn it for ya. If I missed anything or got anything wrong, leave it in the comments. Leave your questions in the comments, and I will try to answer them. This is the NSGArcade. We are small but strong, where games are supposed to be fun.
Losing isn't fun. That's why I don't do it.
Gotcha, bitch!